Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. This is the Monday edition of the Carolina weather video here for this January 25th. Obviously, a powerhouse storm system has affected the region over the past 24 hours. Soaking rain, some severe weather, a lot of wind as well. And that system pulling away. Very breezy conditions today around here behind it. And now we're beginning to turn our eyes toward the system at the end of the week. Interesting system for sure. Let me show you, first of all, look at the storm reports from the Storm Prediction Center. Notice several wind damage reports, Alabama, Georgia, up into South Carolina, North Carolina. And there is still some severe weather ongoing in eastern North Carolina at the time I'm cutting this video, so I could see a couple more damage reports trickle in. And it was a dynamic system, had several severe thunderstorm warnings and even some tornado warnings issued around the region. And that severe weather threat is now over as that system continues to exit off to the east. There's the radar this morning just before 5 o'clock, and that big moisture-packed system continues to exit. Widespread 1 to 2 inch rain. Some folks saw 2, 3 plus inches, and flash flooding was a huge problem. And there's still a lot of swollen creek beds and stream beds, river beds this morning, and that'll be the case all day. So a lot of residual water left around the region. Now, let me show you the temperature map this morning here. You can clearly see where all that mild air moved in ahead of that system, fueling that severe weather threat. But here comes the first push of some cooler air. That'll be dropping southeastward. We'll get into some of that tonight and tomorrow. Today, still relatively mild, probably up around 60 or so for a high temperature this afternoon. And it will be very breezy. And we're going to see these winds out of the west and even southwest in some spots, gusting to 30 or 35 miles an hour. And with the ground so wet, that could topple a few trees throughout the course of the day today. Now, we drop down into the low to mid 30s in many spots tonight. Tomorrow, it'll be cooler, probably upper 40s for most of our highs, and still fairly breezy tomorrow, but not quite as windy as what we'll see today. All right, then we go out to Wednesday. Quiet day, a lot of sunshine, highs 50, 51 degrees in a lot of spots Wednesday afternoon. And here comes our next system diving in. Now, I think with the 6C run of the GFS, it's finally catching the right idea. So here we are, 1 o'clock Thursday. Probably clouds on the increase Thursday, but we should stay dry throughout the daylight hours, at least Thursday. This is 7 p.m. Thursday. And very interesting to watch how this unfolds. This is an Arctic frontal boundary. Wave of low pressure developing along that front and moving eastward. We go out to 1 a.m. Friday morning. And a couple of features to note. Again, here's your developing surface low. High pressure in the northern part of the country will begin to wedge down the eastern side of the mountains. So we go out 6 hours later to 7 a.m. Friday, and that's when you begin to see some precip moving on in. And that is a strong Arctic high in the northern plain states, and if that can develop eastward toward the New England states, that will inevitably get shoved down the eastern side of the mountains. We go out here to 1 o'clock Friday, precip settling on in. This is 7 p.m. Friday. Still precipitation covering the region. And finally, now the GFS has just been blowing the system through, and that be about it. But the GFS has now caught onto the idea, some of the other modeling, that this will slow down. Some energy consolidates along the coast, and we'll see that precip try to continue into Friday night and a very early Saturday morning. So, let me show you. Let's go back to the 0Z run of the GFS, and I wanted to show you. I had these all sort of laid out here to show you the differences and how I didn't think the GFS was right, and now the 6C GFS has come in, and I think it is now getting the right idea. But this was back the 0Z run of the GFS. This was 7 a.m. Friday. Compared it to the same time on the European. Notice that low pressure. The GFS had the low. This is again the 0Z run. Had the low in Georgia. The European had it near Vicksburg, Mississippi. 12 hours later, GFS, tough to even pick out that low, whereas the European had a pretty decent-looking low there in Georgia. And then finally, again, this is 7 a.m. Saturday. Tough to find any type of low-pressure area on the 0Z run of the GFS, but the European had that low near the coast. Very, very strong cold air damming being indicated at that point in time. So really, the European and the 6C GFS now in pretty good agreement. And I think we really have to get this current system that's blowing on through our region completely out of the picture before we can really hone in on the idea. But actually, the model agreement's not that bad. And taking at face value, this is a snow and sleet type of event, I-40 northward, south of I-40. Rain probably kicking over to all types of different wintry precip as the event begins to unfold. Now, again, surface temperatures are really going to crash, so this is going to be probably has the potential to be a decent ice storm in some place around the Piedmont. And exactly who gets what and exactly how this unfolds, I can't answer those questions yet, but I think the potential is there for some wintry precip around the region Thursday night, Friday, and Friday night. We'll see how it all plays out. Quick look at where we head after that. GFS model on the right, European on the left. And the general players still on the field there. This is the polar vortex sitting over eastern and southeastern Canada. Active southern branch beneath that. That can be a pattern that can lead to some fun and games. P&A beginning to spring back toward positive. Arctic oscillation heading in the tank. NAO heading back slightly negative as well. So all these indices point to some active and interesting times for February. So we'll watch that system at the end of the week as well. Not ready to make any type of commitment as to exactly who sees what or whatever. It's too early for that, but I do think there's some winter weather potential with that system. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great Monday, and God bless.